Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to the Age of Sigmar Monday show, where we're joined by Where is Dan? Where? He said, I'm making it this week, right?
Who knows? Who knows where Dan is?
Big shout out to GPAT and Mech Boss Frank for resubbing in the chat. Hello, everyone in the Twitch chat. I'm joined by Mr. Nathan Prescott and Mr. James Powell. Hello, gang. Nathan, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Me, glorious.
How are you?
Glorious. Yeah.
Nice. You've recovered.
I have
good.
recovered. I have recovered from what was wrong?
The weekend.
Oh.
I don't know. Something. There was a litany.
I hate litanies. Hate litanies. They're so hard to remember.
Yeah, you probably have to have them tattooed somewhere to help.
Good. This is going to be really good. Just so everyone knows, it doesn't matter what the show's about. James is also here. James, how are you?
Hey up. Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks.
Good.
All right. How are you?
Again, like Nathan, my response to Nathan, I'm very excited about tonight. I think it's going to be very fun because we've got loads of things to talk about. There's the news. We were going to do our war scrolls, but importantly, and this is really important in the chat, believe me on this, we decided we were going to wish list for the new Nurgle Battletome, which has come out, and not that both of you were writing it as the show was going live and I hadn't done it. That's important that isn't true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you doing one as well? Yeah. Were you doing one as well? I was thinking about it all the time over the weekend, which explains my results.
Well, I was thinking that Dan could be the judge, but without Dan being here, right? How could
we're judgeless? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's a thing on the side of this computer.
Don't press it. Don't press it.
Never mind. Too late. Thing.
Right. Well, I'm good. So we're going to go through the Nurgle stuff. Well, not the Nurgle stuff, but we're going to wish list a bit for the Nurgle stuff because we already know some little bits, which is pretty exciting. Go through the news. Nathan has also had an event at the weekend, so we get to find out what's happened with him. And James has been the center, the epicenter, the nuclei of a huge internet shitstorm, and it's so rare that we get to talk about this. So I'm thrilled because James has been. Nathan, did you see Ringgate?
Ringgate? I think I've seen something like Ringgate. Maybe
That's a dangerous
different.
question to ask, Nathan.
No, I did see a little video of James having a good time with a ring. Yeah.
It was good. I'm very excited.
He destroyed that ring.
You did. But the thing is, no matter how hard you destroy the ring, it still works.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's still the goal. Everybody's goal.
It's correct. So we will be talking about that in a moment. But before we do get onto that, James, other than Ringgate, how's your week been?
Yeah, pretty good. What have I done? Brought some dragons. I played some Warhammer. And yeah, it's been pretty good. Don't know where it went. Went pretty fast. But other than that, all good.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Nothing. Is anything other than Warhammer? Have you done any Warhammer that hasn't been Ringgate?
Yeah, I built some dragons, and I played 3 games Saturday at Boards and Swords in Derby.
Oh, okay. You played more Warhammer, James.
Yeah.
What the fuck, James?
Played a doubles event.
Why do you always come near to Nottingham and never say hello? Not one time.
Well,
it's Derby.
I'm seeing you tomorrow.
Club.
Yeah.
Club. How was your doubles event? Now we need to know how that went.
Yeah, it was good. I took like a very basic Stormcast list and played with Andy Thornley, who took he took Bolt Boys. He took Bolt Boys and a Sludge Raker, and the rest didn't matter.
Okay, why didn't the rest not matter?
I guess the rest did probably matter. So who else was there? There was a guy who did some damage to monsters and had a spell ward, like with a little banner. He was okay. And the wizard but he didn't cast any spells. He just put poison on people.
He does do that. That is what he does. He does mainly only that, actually.
That's all he did all game.
He's not really a wizard. I think he's a chemist.
Yeah, he's definitely not a wizard. He definitely just put poison on people.
Basic storm. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's basic to someone. Thank you, Macbross Frank and Bobbin, for pointing that out. It is basic to someone who comes top 7 at Bobo, I guess, but to us,
to the top Stormcast
to the
player.
top Stormcast player at Bobo, I guess it's basic. But to us, what does the Stormcast Eternal list at 1,000 points look like? Was it 1,000 points each?
Yeah, it was 1,000 points each, and it was. So it was just 3 units of Vindictors, and Andrasta.
Vindicators. Vandactors?
Yeah, those ones.
Okay.
And Andrasta and a Relictor, because you can't play Stormcast without.
Why can you not play, again, top Stormcast player, why can you not play Stormcast without?
Because he's the best. Every time I don't put him in, I miss him. So now he just comes every time.
All right, fair enough.
We've had 5 years of a relationship, and we can't part.
All right, nice. Some questions. Board and Swords in Brum. No, it wasn't Boards and Swords. It was Derby. Boards and Swords. Can you give me a quick, how was the terrain?
Good. Terrain's good.
Table height?
It's all right there, isn't
decent,
it?
Yeah. Could be higher if you didn't want people to be allowed to sit down. That's why that's my usual.
Could be higher if you had stilts.
Or that.
Or like an elevated mezzanine sort of situation.
Yeah, it has a mezzanine.
It's got a mezzanine. A lot of the tables are on the mezzanine.
So they're quite high, I guess. But I guess there's a floor at that point.
Yeah, there's also a floor, so they're still not as high as me.
If you stand on the mezzanine floor, they're not bad height. If you stand on the floor below the mezzanine and try and play on the table on the mezzanine, you've got to have really long sticks.
Okay, perfect. Arms. Maybe you should have used those at the weekend, Nath. That would have helped.
Maybe. Yeah.
James, how was food?
Food was good. It was a pizza, little individual Dominoes. Food was good.
And then finally, the toilet situation. Hand dryers, paper towels, the connoisseur's choice.
Paper towels.
Connoisseur's choice. Someone tweet.
Yeah. No, hand dry though. Not so good for the environment.
Someone tweeted me the other day, like just with a picture of their toilet. They were like, "Paper towels here, Rob." I was like, "Wow, fancy." I like that now. I get pictures of random men in bathrooms. This is my new thing. All right, great. So we'll come on to Ringgate in a moment. Nathan, you were at a tournament of the weekend. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, I went to the Leicester GT.
So excited for this review.
Me too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair enough. No, yeah, it was good tournament. There were about 70 players, maybe 80 players, somewhere around there.
There was. Yeah, it was. We reviewed it. Mike won the event again. That's his third podium in 3 events. Pretty fantastic, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to play him game 2. Yeah.
Oh, that went well for you then.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
He kicked me down the hill, and it was all downhill from there.
I'm so excited. A Nathan Prescott battle report is incoming, so get ready for that. James, I'm going to ask about your battle report as well.
Okay.
I didn't play any. Did I play any Age of Sigmar this week? Yes, I did. I played Chris at club, and I introduced him to his first Age of Sigmar game, which was quite fun.
Nice. Oh, cool. What did you guys play?
I played with Seraphon. I gave him that Iron Jaws list that I played against you. He was very excited about the fact that everything hit on 2s and 2s, and it was damage 2. He was like, "This feels great," and I was like, "It does. It really does feel great."
Did you tell him before the game that you reduced all his 2 damage to 1
damage? I didn't, but then as he hit me, I was like, "By the way, I'm Thunder Lizard." Yeah, and he was like.
Just check it.
So we had a great great time. So I did that, and then I played some MCP the other day as well, as you well know, James. So yeah, I haven't played tons this week. I have started painting my Idoneth Deepkin army.
Nice.
Oh.
So
nice.
I'm pretty excited about that.
What's in that? What's in that?
It's got 6 sharks. I've
5,
got some
6
thralls.
sharks.
I've got like a lot of stuff because it's a 3D printed army. It's my first proper, fully 3D printed army. So the alapexes are like I'll put a picture up at some point. My alapexes are these kind of like toad. No, not toads. That's not fair. Big fish with a cannon, basically. My thralls. Yeah,
Cannon
my thralls are like murlocs. I've got a big crustacean as a leviathan, so it's pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited, basically. I've got some cool eidolons, which are like kind of
Nice.
I think they're called NAGA. Basically, in World of Warcraft is what they're called. I think. Yeah, those. So they're fun. So anyway, I've got a couple of different lists, but it should be. I'm going to airbrush it. I'm going to see if I can get it done in most of a day, basically, because I printed them because they're fairly. What are you laughing about?
I've printed this really nice army. This is how good it looks. This is it all.
No, what I mean is like it'll be airbrushable because like I intentionally because it's fish, right? So a lot of it's like scales and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's not lots of like armor and other bits. So all right, whatever. Like
I just like the hilarity of the. It looks great. Paint it in a day. I'm just in my head. You've just got 2 rattle cans, different colours, and you're just gonna do this.
Maybe I will. Maybe I fucking will. Right?
Well, it's not 3 colour minimum then, is it?
There'll be like silver to pick out and stuff. Like the guy. Right? You laugh. Right? You two talk amongst yourselves. I'll show you. I'll go get him. Right? And then you'll be laughing, James. Right.
That was easy. Easily wound up today.
All right. Take the rest of the night off. Shall we go?
Yeah, should we all just go? Chat, everyone out. Let's just all disappear.
Well, I've seen some of them. They are pretty sweet.
Yeah, I've seen them before, which makes it even funnier because when I saw them, I was like, "Oh, these are really nice," but they're not. That's not a 1 hour airbrush job.
No, there's a fair amount of detail on them, isn't there? So the cannons have got like spray things coming out with the cannonball on the end and all that.
See, that's not happening.
Tentacles, all of that sort of stuff. He loves tentacles.
He's probably lost them.
Right, so
now
YouTube folks, I'll tweet this out. But look how cute this guy is.
See, there's the cannonball.
Right.
Yep. Doesn't look like he's getting painted in 10 minutes.
Dude, you just airbrush most of it, and then
it's
and
just
then
a
paint his
scale.
balls.
One scale.
Look there. Oh
Nice.
my god, this is good at right. Yeah, who's laughing now, James?
That is.
Yeah, that's right.
I want you to time yourself when you
fine.
paint it.
And then look, this is my Leviathan.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that is cool. Yeah. Tentacles.
Lots of tentacles. Yeah, very hentai.
Mm.
And then this is my you guys see this? This guy's going to be my what they called eidolons.
Okay,
maybe he's a bit small, but I'm just going to put him on a fucking massive base, and I'm like,
wasn't the other guy the eidolon? The
guy.
tentacle guy.
No, well, whatever, something.
Is that a king?
That's what I meant, king. But then check out my thralls. They're so cute. They're little murlocs.
They're the best ones.
Little murlocs, little anglerfish murlocs.
See, each one of those needs a day's worth of painting.
No, James. Fuck no. Like,
look how much painting they deserve.
Get airbrushed.
Which one's your pointy man?
I've got another pointy man. I've got another one out there.
It should be that Murloc pointing, and put a hat on him. 3D print him a little top hat. Be him.
Yeah, but Murlocs are going to be. That's dippable. Thank you, Plymouth Troll Slayers know what I'm about, right?
Which one is going to be Lotan?
I haven't printed a Lotan yet, so. Anyway. But my point is whoa you. Like, I'm excited because I've also got a Nurgle army, so I thought we could we'll talk about that in a bit. But I'm generally excited. I just want to play loads of games. It's so fun, isn't it? All right. Anyway, talking about before we get onto games, we need to talk about if you don't make your soundboard fully loaded with Murloc noises, I'm going to refuse to play you. I've only got 2 noises on the soundboard at the minute. Do you want to hear them both?
Yeah, sure.
Once again, can you see my tears?
Doesn't that get us in trouble?
What's up?
Doesn't that get us in
No,
trouble?
that's fine. And then also,
Okay.
My tactics were flawless, and yet my forces lie decimated.
that's the best one. That's the best one.
That's
you
that's
from
me
the weekend.
at the weekend.
Were your tactics flawless?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll hear all about it soon.
Right, before we get onto anything, we need to talk about Ringgate. So that's the most recent news. James, Nathan, you said you know little bits about it. Do you know how Ringgate started?
They decided when you had to control objectives that you had to be you had to be within
Mhm.
6 inches.
No,
That's how it started.
that's how it started.
Yeah.
That is how it started.
That is how it started. But I mean, sure. And then from that point on, do you know how maybe it progressed to being a gate, or
It just went downhill. It was a shit idea.
I
I
agree.
agree. James, do you want to talk to me about how it started for you? This is your chance to talk about the origin story.
The entire from all the way from the beginning.
Please.
Of how rings were invented.
Is that what? Is that you want
Who
the beginning of
invented
the
the wheel?
rings
Yeah.
being made?
Just go through
All
the
the
whole
way-
process.
Okay.
Nathan, ask any questions you want. I'm excited.
Hang on. How long ago was it? Like 2 years ago,
3?
I think. Maybe 3. I don't know. We went to the London GT
We did.
2 years ago, 3 years ago. That's where we went. And I commentated for the first time. And Rob has a good ability on a top-down camera of being able to work out roughly what an inch is, because I think he sees that all the time.
Especially on
me.
like a top-down camera.
Me, not so good. So after we left there, I said there must be some way of doing this better. Me and John Scrivo debated it for quite a while. John kind of like sketched out the design that's on the rings that if you own a set you've seen, but then it was just like an arduous process of finding someone to make them. If anyone's ever asked about them before about making their own, they've always had the same advice. So the first set we had made was for Bloodshed in the Shires. I had them made just for the stream at like a local print shop, and I think one set of 6 was 50 quid.
It's a lot.
For
It was
6.
a lot.
And then it got even more hilarious because they wouldn't cut them out. So on the stage on the first day of Bloodshed in the Shires, me and John Scrivo hand cut out the objective rings, and that was a nightmare because if you own a set, the line's yellow, and it was less yellow back then, and so we had to hand cut out each one, and it was just a nightmare. So that was funny. And then they went on the stream and people exploded and people really wanted them. And so I think 6 months later, we took a punt. So the first set we made, and big thanks, like Rob gives, to all the Patreon people. Big thanks to anyone that brought the first, I think it was 110 sets, because otherwise we couldn't actually make them.
We were too
So
poor.
we had to have 110 sets made for it to even be like, I think it was 100 sets for a break even, maybe actually, and 135 people brought.
Yeah, because we
So-
literally didn't have the money to buy that amount, right?
Yeah, so at that time, I cleverly or stupidly put some of my personal savings in for the deposit, and when cool, I've put them live. If we don't make any money, I've just lost. I think it was like $1,000 or more. Can't remember. And very nicely, some Australian people, by the time I'd woke up, had brought the first set of like 50, I think, between Australia. So yeah, so then it just exploded, and now we've sold quite a lot of them. They're all over the world. Japan, China.
Sold them to China.
I'm trying to think of some other. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other crazy places
Fucking
they've been.
Xi Jinping.
I've learned a lot about cities and places I never knew existed. I've learned lots about postal services. South Africa. Sorry, Nathan, not so good.
Nathan from Zimbabwe, you racist piece of shit. But
my apologies. But yeah, not so good. Lost 3 sets that then turned up 2 months later. So there's 3 sets there now.
Good.
That was good fun. Yeah, so they've gone all over. And it's been a weird one because like when we started, I think AD Mac talked to us about Kickstartering them, and we just decided to try and do it with a community so that we could do the best. Yes, thanks, Banksy. You do all know my home address. It's on every envelope. Yeah, so AD Mac talked about Kickstartering them, which realistically we were never going to do because we didn't have a logistics network, and if it had gone crazy to begin with, it was just me in a house. When we originally started, as a funny story, there was 6 of us that were going to get together, count them, pack them, put them in envelopes and send them all over the world. Then COVID happened and I packed 135 envelopes in my house on my own.
That's not my fault, James.
No, that isn't your fault. That isn't your fault.
But Rob did go through China about that time.
We did. Yeah. We did. I did.
So is it his fault or isn't it?
Maybe. So yeah. So where did we go from there? And that's kind of it, really. They've gone all over. And there was a talk of a Kickstarter at the beginning. We decided to do it with a community instead. Just try and do it on our own. And then it just kind of exploded. We made some 40k ones. They sold like really slow, and then I don't know what happened. Maybe people got back to playing, so all of those have gone. That's a lot of anger
about the fact that they're gone.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying. There's only one of me. So all that's kind of happened, and then like loads of people early on asked us if we were gonna patent them, and we decided we weren't gonna bother.
Isn't it just the original. How can we do it? It's just a circle.
Well, you can't really. But also, like, the main thing was that we only ever really made them because people wanted them. It helped fund some of the T-Sport stuff, but realistically, it was about making something the community wanted. So we kind of left it at that. And that's how they came into existence.
Well, good. Well, I'll pick up the story just to quickly retell to Nathan, although I think a lot of the viewers already know the story at this point, which is quite fun. Also, little interesting fact, and I gave James a shout out when I talked about this the other day, a lot of the money that was made off that went to buy and build stuff for the TSN arena. The wall I see in front of me, which I stare at every day, paid for by Objective Rings. The fridge in which I keep my jams, paid for by the Objective Rings. Yeah, like many a thing. So thanks to James, as well as live coverage stuff like equipment and other stuff. So effectively, James's and work has paid for lots of what we've done in the future. So thank you to James being a fantastic member of the community and doing a great job, which is fucking 11 out of 10. The follow-up news is, Nathan, that there's a group of scurrilous rogues created a Kickstarter for some competing rings, which isn't a problem because obviously competition is healthy for the customer base, right? Useful for everyone in the community. However, they did say some uncouth, dare I say rude things about James's rings. Yeah.
Ring?
Yeah.
What? That's not on. You can't talk about James's ring like that.
You can't talk about James's ring like that at all. James's ring is a precious thing.
Unless he likes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I didn't realise that.
Nathan,
but, okay.
You've used
obviously
James's ring. Could you tell me what it's been like as an experience?
Very good. It makes the whole experience, very pleasurable.
I find the ease of use is excellent, and I don't really have to wonder as whether or not I can fit loads of dudes in.
Yeah, you know whether you're in or out, don't you? So
yeah, you do. Yeah. You really know. Definitely. You really know. Okay. So.
So you can maximise the amount of men you can get in there, and it's great.
Really can. Yeah. You really can. This is excellent. Even big ones, even big.
Monsters.
Just absolutely anything.
Can't let 5 mega gargants.
Them new bad dragons.
Yeah, those new bad dragons from the Stormcast. Yeah. Right, so, but they did some uncouth things, like they folded James's ring really firmly, but then they didn't grip their own ring particularly firmly in a scathing video, Nathan.
What, they're saying their rings are
they
tougher?
were saying
they can take more use.
Yeah, they said that they can squeeze them firmer.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Or
Yeah. Takes more to
yes.
destroy them.
Also, their
Fair
rings
enough.
are sticky and don't move around.
Yeah, but they also
Yeah.
use blue tack, but I won't go into.
We won't talk about that.
I've not tried blue tack, but yeah, I'll give it a bash next time.
This is great. This is great. You should never squeeze another's ring firmly than you're willing to squeeze your own. I agree, Gout. Thank you very much, Twitch chat. Right. So yeah, they did that, and then they just basically just trashed it in some of the ways, basically. However, and then did a Kickstarter, and which was a bit rude, I think, generally. So I've already spoken about this on the show. But then James, you retaliated in a Twitch video, in a Twitter video, sorry. Which I think some people have seen, which we should talk about in a minute. What inspired you as the target of what is an industrial advertising attack? How do you feel?
Do you know, I have to say, like, and I've probably moaned about it enough, and I've probably moaned about playing Warhammer enough this year, but actually, like, the bit that kind of keeps me enthralled is, like, the people. So I think more than anything, like, I saw that Kickstarter because about 12 people sent it me. But even more than that, I'd seen it about 2 hours before anyone sent it me, but paid no attention because they hilariously followed me on Instagram. And so I got a notification that said, "You've been followed by Age of Sigmar objective markers." Or whatever their Instagram is. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'll have a look. And then I think I was in the office that day. So I had like a minor look and was like, oh, cool, whatever. It's just another set. So I left it at that. And then like somewhere by lunch when I looked at my phone, people were like, have you seen this? This is a joke. So I thought, oh, I'll have a look. And so like I went on and I looked and I thought, you know what, whatever. Good luck to you. I hope you do fine. And then I think probably on my drive home, I thought about it some more, and I was like, "Do you know what's really annoying? Like, you brought them; they're yours to do what you want with. But like, it's just us. It's just me in a house. I sort it all. Like around my normal life, and I was like, I had to package them. Like I had to get them out. I had to count them. I had to package them. I had to send them to, I think, Germany, for you to trash them." Like, they could have just gone, like, I'd rather have given that set away for free to someone that was going to use them. So then I was kind of just irate about that, really. And then as I thought about it, I thought, well, you know, others have been made over the time since we made them, and no one's felt the need to be horrible to each other or nasty. We've all just got on with our lives, and you buy the one to stream your life. So then I was just like, I'm a bit annoyed. And also, like...
Carry on.
Oh, carry on. Oh, and also then I think my other big thing was that most of the people, like lots of the people that brought them are people that are in the chat right now, or probably lots of people that are watching back on YouTube later. And like, because I do them all those envelopes, like every time I do it, I see someone's name, I see their address, I send them off, and I think, oh, that's going somewhere, oh, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. So part of me was just like, well, now I feel like a knobhead. Getting
1 second, James. Just repeat the last 5 seconds.
So we send them all over the world, and we never get that many complaints about them getting trashed. Occasionally it happens because that's postal, but you know, never too bad. I see them at most events now. Events are back. So I think for me, like the big thing really was that I was just like, well, now I'm half narked that they think it's cool to buy something and trash it, and half narked that I might have sold something that actually isn't as good as we thought it was. So when that video started, so if you watch, like that's like 5 little videos that I filmed and stuck together, because the first one where I just fold the thing was actually the beginning of me doing a serious video where I was going to be just like, I've just folded it the same, it's fine. And then after I'd folded it and was like, this is fine, I was like, do you know what? Like, I'd never do this on a table. Are you about to play the video?
I'm showing people. There's the video. Here we go. Let's do it.
Is the sound?
You might know me from the internet or real life.
Can we just talk about James's intro one more time, please? Because it's great.
Hey, my name's James.
It's just me on my
You might
sofa.
know me from the internet or real life.
Oh yeah, same shit.
All real life. All real life. Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah,
because
real
I
life.
didn't want to think I'd sold people I think are my mates a bunch of rubbish. I thought I'd do my
At
own
least I
tests.
can't hear myself.
Here they are.
You don't scrunch them anywhere near it hard enough, James.
Sorry.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I like the flip that you make him do. The flip flop. You're like flop, flip, flip, flop, flop.
Just that on its own. It's built in.
Is that a feature?
It's
Is
a
that
mechanic.
of the most advanced materials possible by man?
Yeah, that's how it works.
By the way, thank you to Chef Legend for bringing up the fact that I could have called this entire saga instead of Ringgate, the War of the Rings, and I'm gutted. I'm fucking gutted that I did not do that. What was the brick test meant to show?
Because they kept going on about it scratching, and like I was like, well, a model's like it's just a plastic base. If it scuffs, it's fine. And I was like, I'll just get a brick out and do it with that.
Some people play with bricks.
Yeah, well, it just got to that point. Like at this point, I was like, I'm just going to be a dickhead about it.
Yeah, my brick comes forward 6 inches.
And then I got in my
and will
car.
charge you.
It just do you see how this escalated
It did.
though in
I
my
liked
head?
it. I
Fold.
liked it. I kind of
Brick.
wanted you to set them on
Car.
fire.
Oh, we could try that. We could try that next.
Yeah.
Although I probably don't need to now, but that's the end of the story, so we'll come
Okay.
back to it. Yeah, so then I drove. Meg's favourite part is when I get into the car at about 51 seconds, I make a get in the car noise, and someone highlighted it on Twitter. It's 51 seconds or something. She likes to now occasionally just play the 51st second to me.
Did you do a bit of video editing problems? You cut them. What was the... We're just saying when you cut them, they're fine.
No, when I cut it, it's bad. My thumb goes down. It was just a joke at this point. Like at this point, like this one's not getting sold. So at this point, I was like, oh no, doesn't. It's not immune to cutting. But then that's the same ring.
Yeah.
Only used one. This little guy walks over it fine. There's the holes from the car. Yeah.
Great video. Great video. Great video. Why is it not cut proof?
That material doesn't exist
Have
yet.
you thought about just making solid metal discs?
Yeah. We
Did you? You should have got somebody to hold it up in front of their face and then shot a shotgun with it. See if it was bulletproof.
could have. We could try that. I'll try it with Rob
Thank
tomorrow
you.
night.
Yeah.
Grand.
Clear
Yeah.
metal. Does clear metal exist?
No, it would be glass you could make them out of, but it sounds dangerous.
Carbon fiber glass?
Also sounds expensive.
You seem to not be trying, is what I'm trying to say.
Definitely at this point. There's so many
Yes.
others.
Well,
that
but this is where the story doesn't end, because the Kickstarter had some problems because they used a lot of Games Workshop logos, so they got attacked by attacked. That's not fair. They got whatever they do. What do they do? That
Yep.
IP thing, right?
we got like a cease and
Yeah,
desist.
or something. And then they've gone up now, and there's a lot less there's a lot less nasty stuff on there. So if you do want to go and look at their stuff, feel free. I'm sure they're fine. But I think the hot piece of news to round off this story is Games Workshop at their Age of Sigmar Invitational Final this weekend in Texas had them on the stream. That's
Which is nuts.
peak. Yes, that's crazy. James, did you ever think that Games Workshop would be using them on their stream to mark out objective markers?
No, and what's even funnier is, so during the course of us making them and selling them, obviously when I send them to addresses, people have them sent to their house, and sometimes people have them sent to their work.
Mm-hmm.
And several sets have gone to Games Workshop stores,
Have they, Have you like kept it on the down low?
which I have never shared.
That's never been public information until right now.
No. But at this point, I was just like, do you know what? Fair play, because they obviously think they work.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's pretty. Nathan, you got any thoughts about Games Workshop using James's ring on stream?
Oh, well, if you're going to go into the circle line of things, then yeah, go for it. Do it with James's ring.
I agree wholeheartedly. James, I think to round off the story, thanks to all of us for putting your ring out there into the world. Like, that's important.
Exactly. Yeah. And all the Twitch chat for using my ring so that they can exist in the wild.
Yeah. Also that.
All around the world.
I'm going to include James's Twitter handle and the links to all of this stuff in the show notes. So if you guys want to go and check any of that out, please do. You should. Nathan, you were at a Warhammer event this weekend with the, by the way, 55% win rate Iron Jaws. Brand new army, so
Wonder where this is going.
I expect it went really well. Do you want to talk to us about what's happened?
Didn't go
No,
well.
don't blow the lead. Where was the event?
Oh, in Leicester, just round the corner from my house. 15 minutes.
Fantastic. Okay, and follow-up question to that is, who ran the event? What was how many people? 80 people run by Colonel Cabbage?
Yes, so it was the Leicester GT. So I don't know, some company or something that does GTs all over the world, all over the UK.
WarhammerTournaments.com
/UK. And it was great. I mean, there were 1 gazillion 40k players. There were like 300 and something 40k players.
Is it the largest event you've been to? Because there would, between the two, there was nearly 400 players, right?
Yeah, well, I think obviously maybe the largest one I've played in.
Adepticon.
Because the big ones I went to was that
Adepticon.
American one. There were loads there. Yeah. So maybe that was bigger. But yeah, it was massive. And yeah, everything was run smoothly. Mr. Cabbage is a very organised fella. So yeah, it was great. I didn't see any problems anywhere. The bogs were great. Hand dryers, blew hot air, that sort of stuff.
What was food like?
So food wasn't provided. There was on-site bar which did hamburgers and sausage rolls and stuff. Or you could go around the corner because Melton Road is nearby, so it's got loads of very nice little Indian takeaway type foods there. So if you want something nice, you could have gone there, or the city centre's not far away if you want anything else.
All right, nice. Okay, so what list did you take?
Oh yeah, so I took a cutting edge Iron Jaws list. So yeah. So I took a Maw Crusher, as you do, but I decided that he shouldn't be my general. But I did give him the Destroyer chopper, so the chopper with the big red button, which is always fun. And then, but my general was a Weird Nod Shaman, as you should, like all good generals.
Not what they should be, but sure. Okay.
And I had double Warlord Battalion, so I had 2 enhancements. So I made one of them a spell enhancement. So he had a choice of Foot of Gork and Hand of Gork. And also he had the ability where he could do D3 mortal wounds to a unit within 6. And however many wounds they took, you get those pluses to cast.
Okay.
So, yeah, pretty good. And then I had another Weird Knob just in his pants. He had the options of casting Foot of Gork and Basham Lads.
But why? But 3 weird knobs aren't really the done thing. And
No, only 2 weird knobs. 2 weird knobs, and then I had a war chanter with a wizarding hat.
is it called a wizarding hat? Is it called an arcane tome?
Yes. Well, it should be called a
I
wizarding
agree.
hat.
I'm with
Yeah, I
Nathan on that
agree.
one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he had Hand of Gork and Basham Lads. So those were his options, and he also had the fixing
Okay.
beat.
Okay, good. Good. I
Yeah.
imagine that fixing beat won't have come in help much because you will have used the overwhelming power of your army to destroy your opponents, therefore not needing to fix much.
Well, if you have to damage some of them, then you can fix them. With the 6-inch, take D3 damage, then heal D3
All right.
damage.
Okay, yeah, apologies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Chat, I'd like to know if you think it should be a wizarding hat or an arcane tome. I think I prefer hat as well.
Definitely. Or in the case of my weird number, it was a wizarding helmet, actually.
That really changes up the aesthetic, in my opinion. Hat to helmet, but
Well, he was wearing a helmet with the horns turned down instead
Okay.
of up.
But you could have made him a little hat.
I could have, but I
You
think a
should.
wizarding helmet is quite acceptable as a form of headgear for a weird knob. Not a weird knob, a war chanter. Bloody hell, getting their names mixed up. And then I had another war chanter. He had the getting beat, and I had a mega boss on foot.
Oh wow! Okay, that's a bit of a fringe, not fringe choice, a bit of an edgy choice at the minute. A lot of people going for the one more crusher and the mega boss on foot as a kind of like, I guess because you throw them because the mega boss probably dies 2-3, like so then
Yeah.
you still get like a double mighty destroyers out of the guy on foot, and he's pretty fighty.
Yeah, he's all right in a fight. He let me down a few times over the weekend,
Okay.
actually,
All right.
because he's only rend 1. So yeah, but yeah, he's got quite a few attacks. He's got 8 attacks, and obviously he can get more of those.
Why is the guy on top of a pig Rend 2, but the mega boss is Rend 1?
Because rules, I don't know. So
Okay, it's fair.
it's a great question. He got a massive chopper.
Yeah, why is his chopper
Yeah.
worth?
His chopper humongous compared to those little spears that those pig
You're
riders
right.
have got.
It is a massive chopper. Very useful when you're trying to
It should-
defend James's ring.
Yeah, it should definitely have more rend.
I kind of
More
I want to
bits
hear
and-
more about this, but I'm just very excited now for maybe the entire Age of Sigmar community to be like, okay, so I've got 30 Phoenix Guard on James's ring. Like all objective markers are now referred to as James's ring.
I'll be comfortable.
That is all we're fighting for. Forget the gold. Let's get James's ring.
The ring. Anyway, sorry. Please continue, Nathan.
Yeah. So obviously I needed some bodies to get into James's ring, so I took a unit of 5 art
Okay.
boys. Because art boys are great for going onto rings or into rings, and a unit of 15 art boys. Yes. And then I took a unit of 3 piggy
Nice.
pigs.
Yep.
4 grunters, yes. Which I had given the long
Yep.
spears. And then I took a unit of 10 brutes. Brutes.
Yep.
And I gave them long spears too. And then I had a unit of 5 brutes with 2 little choppers.
Okay.
Each.
All right, nice. Did you have any plan
we
for
go.
the list?
Well, the main reason for the list was most of those were the models I had, except for the extra weird knob, which I borrowed from himself.
You did. How did he do over the weekend?
He cast Foot of Gork once or twice. That was
It's
fun.
just a great conversation, isn't it? Someone like Rob, how you doing recently? Like, my friend Nathan borrowed my weird knob, and he was using it to try and get into my friend James's ring.
Yeah.
With a foot.
with a foot. Yeah. He didn't have a fist, so he took a foot.
Anyway, all right. So, who was your first round opponent? How'd it go?
So my first round opponent was called Peter Barrett. He's a local lad in Leicester. He had like some Leicester Chargers or something T-shirt, there were a whole load of them that play Warhammer in Leicester that I didn't know about. So that was exciting. He was fielding a Stormcast army with basically the Prime and some odds and sods. So some Liberators, some Vindictors, some some dudes on Dracolines.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Fulminators, I assume.
Yeah. No.
Dracolines. Even
Draca...
Dracolines. Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Those. And a Lord something on a Dracoline as well.
Oh.
Okay.
That could cast a spell.
Only one. Can we
Yeah,
talk
only
about
one.
that? Someone pointed that out recently. Like Sigmar, Steel, like the Soul
Let's not.
Wars. The
was
Soul
me.
Wars. It was last week. You Soul War. It was you last week. Soul Wars. Oh, never mind. We've already talked about it. I don't need to. Just listen to
Sorry.
last week. James made a great point.
It just hurts
Yeah,
me.
it's
Just recycling
Yeah,
James's
sorry, James.
content.
sorry.
You carry
No,
on.
I
You carry
refuse
on.
to.
Do it.
I
Do the
refuse to.
piece.
Yeah.
Like.
But I want to hear it come from you.
Don't you just want to show his video again? Recycle that as well.
Leave me alone. I'm trying so hard. Okay. Never mind. Fine. Anyway, one cast wizard.
That's it. Leicester Juggernauts. They were them, not Leicester Chargers. Leicester Juggernauts. Yeah,
The important part of the story. Good. All right. That's crucial.
Yeah. I've seen something in the chat for ages. I've been looking. I couldn't see anything.
What useful?
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't think he said they played a lot of bolt action and stuff. So wasn't like they played a fair amount of AoS, but so obviously it wasn't competitive. His list, whereas mine was cutting edge for the first
Okay.
game. And yeah, so I managed to overwhelm him with my stabby bash lads.
Okay. And yeah, because it's not very. It's not a lot. It's not very. Yeah, it's not going to do well, right? You can't scream well with Stormcast. It's quite interesting the Ironjaw Stormcast mirror because you feel like it goes in Ironjaw's favor most of the time. Not mirror, but matchup.
Yeah. So obviously, first round, he was able to. He took first turn, was able to claim objectives and get board position. But then I ran over there, pushed him back off the objectives, and then it was a case of he managed to keep scoring his battle tactics, but he was struggling on the primary objectives. So I was slowly creeping ahead, and then obviously he has to try and overextend himself a bit to try and get back onto the primaries. And then once you start opening up holes that the Ironjaws can climb into, then they take advantage of it pretty brutally. And also, I think I won the priority going into the third turn, which is always a crucial one. So I was like, you can sort of drive the nail home. And then
Especially
at that point,
because at that point you can normally burn one of James's rings. Mhm.
Yeah.
Hurts.
Not on this objective.
On that battle plan.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. On this one, you could have.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yes, I managed a victory points wise, it was 29-16, so 16-4, something like that.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
So who was your second
Yeah.
matchup? And also, did you say
Great
so
start.
you said that they were the Leicester Wind Chargers or something? Yeah.
Yes.
Is that like a gaming club or a sports team?
It's a gaming club, and they place tables top
Oh,
sports there.
nice.
So it's a sports team of Global and Co. The Leicester Hurricanes, or whatever they are. Yeah.
The Leicester Legends is their name, right? And I think
Yeah.
Nubgun in the chat is part of their crew. Yeah.
Is
They
he?
play 50-50 of bolt action and AoS, so not top-end competitive. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. I wondered what happened when he brought Brendan out. I was like, what's that?
What?
But they'd smash you at bolt
They'd
action.
smash it.
Yeah,
They'd
they
smash
would.
it bolt action.
I bet there's no rings in bolt
I don't know.
action.
Is there?
Don't know. Never played.
James, is your ring bolt actionable?
Maybe. I don't even know how you score.
Yeah, I don't know how you score either. So, and bring James. So apparently, Nubgun has invited you to be a part of the Leicester Wanderers.
Yes, awesome.
You're always
That's great.
welcome.
Yeah.
Leicester
Yeah,
United.
as long as you bring James's ring with you.
There you go. Sorted.
Okay.
Don't forget it.
Great. I'll make sure I pack it in my pocket and bring it along.
Don't fold it up
They
too
fold
tight.
up really well. I've seen it online. I didn't know they fold up that well. I was like,
Yeah.
this is excellent.
It's really good for when you're playing the vice and you in the corner. You have to
Yeah,
fold it
just
into
fold
four.
it into four.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I cut mine. Because you don't. There's no 8 anymore, so I've cut my 7th one into, and that's
There you
why I
go.
do it. It's actually not a bad idea. I might do that. Nathan, how was game 2? Also, hello to our first-time chatter, Luger 9mm. That's awkward. That sounds like a bolt action name if ever I've heard one.
Yeah.
Who's game 2?
So game 2, I got to play this fella called Mike Stewart, who had a Seraphon
Wow.
army.
Hot Streak Mike,
And,
I think they've called him.
Yep, that will have something to do with James's
Mhm.
ring, I'm
Hot
sure.
Streak Mike.
And
Yep.
yeah, so he had a Seraphon army with a couple of Bastillodons and loads of salamanders. Well, 4 salamanders, loads of skinks, a slan, a temple thing, some little skink priesty jobs.
Okay. Yeah.
And the engine of the gods, yeah. So yeah, I wasn't sure how to play this, so I decided to just go across the table and try and pin him in and score big enough so that when eventually got out, I was way ahead. And so yeah, it worked. The first turn I scored maximum, and then that was it. After that, he scored maximum, and I scored hardly anything. So it didn't go well. Because yeah, so he gave me first turn, obviously, and if I got the double, maybe it would have gone different, but I didn't get the double, and went downhill from there. And by the end of the game, he was scoring maximum points, and I was scoring nothing because I was all
interestingly,
dead.
Mike also the player to beat Darren with the Iron Jaws list at Bobo as well. So he's a bit of an Iron Jaws slayer, and truthfully, like that Seraphon list, that Thunder Lizard list we've already seen has done really well over the weekend, just gone. But obviously, your ability to just reduce that damage down by 1 is pretty significant, right?
Yeah. So it counters the war chanters, and yeah, the damage output is reduced. And I did make a mistake. I think first turn he had like a screen, two units of I think a 10 and a 20 that were stood next to each other, and I managed to get the brutes and the Maw Crusher in, but they were both into separate screens. If I'd managed to get the brute charge just an inch further to the side, and then I could have got the Maw Crusher in to clip that screen. So I could have cleared the screen that was in front of the brutes and left the other screen, and then piled my brutes up, and then they would have been able to get into some of them would have been able to get into the Bastillodon and possibly even the salamanders with the 2-inch reach on the weapons, and then maybe I could have crushed a flank, but it didn't happen. I did manage to destroy his Realm Shaper engine first turn,
Oh, really?
which was fun.
How?
Yeah. I charged at it and then did the monstrous thing where you stomp on the terrain feature.
Nice.
So turned it into rubble. Yeah, I thought it was nice, but it didn't really affect the game because, like I said, everything
It
died.
affects his
pretty quick.
next game. He hasn't got a house to live in.
Well, I think he just got some builders in and they fixed it.
Classic.
I think.
I mean,
for next
Nathan, you're
one.
making work for yourself
Yeah.
there. Smash the building down to rubble.
Yes.
Get the contract.
Thinking ahead, I was.
All right, so you lost to the champ. You can't be sad about that, right?
Yeah.
That's fine.
No. Yeah, fair. Yeah, he played really well. Yeah,
Okay.
he saw things. Like, he made a mistake turn 3, but then he saw it in time and was able to make some shenanigans happen that I never even saw coming. And then what started out as a mistake ended up being a pretty strong move on his part. So it was just like, yeah, it was pretty dominant performance.
All right, nice. Okay, thanks, Luger, for subscribing for the first time. Nice. Welcome to the gang. So then, who was your third game against, and what faction?
So my third game was against Mikhail
Gorbachev?
Klimek.
Right.
Yeah, from Hereford. He was one of those Hereford
HWG guys.
Wargaming
Yeah, they're great.
guys. Yeah. So yeah, proper good guy to play against. Actually, I really enjoyed this game. He was playing with a Temper stylist with Gotrek.
Nice. Okay. Right. Lots to kill on
And,
your side though.
Yeah. But quite unusual, as instead of it being a shooting Temper stylist, it was a combat Temper stylist.
A combat Temper stylist. Okay, that's rarer, right?
Yeah. And so he alpha struck me with his Temper stylist.
What was it? What did he hit you with?
So it was a Frostheart Phoenix with the anointed on it, who had given. So in Tempestar, you can give one of them a trait, which lets the general run and charge, and in addition to that, he fights at the start of the combat phase.
Nice.
And then, so he had that fella, pretty tasty, and then he had a couple of sorceresses and a couple of 10 blocks of spearmen, so he could like knock them over and then get pluses to cast. And they had the Eagle Strike one, and then also the Aura of Glory, so +1 attack within a certain aura. So he just ran her up behind 2 blocks of 20 Phoenix Guard.
Okay. Really?
Which were, so they get extra attack. They get to re-roll wounds if they're near the Phoenix. And the Phoenix was re-rolling to wound. And obviously +1 to all-out attack as an option as well. So really fighty. So he first turn charged me with the Phoenix and 1 block of Phoenix Guard, and I was like, oh, this is all right. I can fight everything now. And the first turn, I mean, the Phoenix I put some wounds onto it, and I thought, wow, it's really tough. -1 to wound is quite hard, especially as I couldn't get the spell Bash 'em Lads off. But then there was a unit of, so this is the Feral Foray, I think, where you can burn the objectives. 3 on each side, yeah. So the one on my extreme right, he was fighting on the one on the left with this Phoenix, and then threatening the center with the blocks of 20 Phoenix Guard. And then on the right, his block of 20 went into, I had a small force over there, just the 5 Ard Boys, 5 Brutes, and the Mega Boss on foot. So it was proper threatened on that side. I thought he was going to take it off of me. And I think I think he did take it off of me, but he wasn't close. Obviously, you can't burn it first turn.
No.
So then in my turn, I flew my Maw Crusher over there and took it back off of him and deleted the 20 Phoenix Guard. And I thought, oh, this is all right. The Maw Crusher's big enough and strong enough he can get into all the Phoenix. He can do Phoenix Guard on his own. And I've still got the 10 Brutes. So the 10 Brutes ran up the center and just bounced off the Phoenix Guard.
I mean, they're very tough, right? So it's 3 up armor save, 4 up ward.
Yeah. So just literally bounced off. In fact, he lost maybe 5 or 6 of them, and I lost 5 or 6 of the Brutes. So my unit of Brutes was crippled, and his unit of Phoenix Guard were fine. And in fact, he had that Endless Wife Swarm flying around healing them up as well. So they basically, I charged him and lost the fight. So I was like, oh, this is a nightmare. Flew the Maw Crusher around, and that bounced off of them as well. So yeah, basically it just couldn't get through the Phoenix Guard, and the Phoenix slowly overwhelmed the unit of Ard boys that it was fighting, and then just came over and helped finish off the Maw Crusher and the rest of the brutes.
Oh.
So yeah, just couldn't cope with the Phoenix and the Phoenix
I gotta say that, like, I think that the -1 to wound aura, or -1 to wound generally, is one of the stronger bits about, like, it's probably the best debuff in the game at the moment, other than, like, obviously the half charge sort of rule. And maybe then it's even like a good conversation as to, like, how effective -1 to, because you rarely get +1 to wound.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I got the spell to counteract it, but I just never got it off. And I think the one time what I should have done differently was that when I did bring the Maw Crusher around to that side, I should have just Finest Hour him, so I had that extra +1 to wound. Because the -1 to wound really diminished the amount of attacks I had going through onto the unit. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right, like, we'll take a break for a moment. James, tell me about your doubles event. How did it go?
Yeah, it was good. We had a good laugh. Played with Andy Thornley, who I played at. What was the London?
It's called Blood Tithe.
Blood Tithe with. Yeah. So we did a little doubles. He sent me 2 lists he wanted to play, but he sent me one of the lists 3 times and the other one once. So I took the hint that he wanted to play the one list. So then kind of just wrote a list around it. So mine basically was going to stand still, not do much damage, and let him shoot things.
Okay. And did that work?
And I'd had... Yeah, it worked for two of our 3 games. It worked painfully well. And in the last game, it all went horribly wrong.
No, what happened? Oh, do you want to talk us through the games?
Yeah, so game 1, so he got... Sorry, I should talk through the list, sorry. So I got Andrasta, Lord of Blights.
You were taking her out last time.
Yeah, and then I like the model.
Okay, all right.
She really shouldn't have been in the list. What I should have had was another, like, 3 squads of Vindictors, because I had the points.
Vandicators, yeah.
Whatever. But I like her, so she came. So that was fine. So that was the list. It was just going to stand in the way, and he took 6 Bolt Boys. 6 Bolt Boys.
Right.
A Sludge Raker.
Okay.
The guy with the totem, and the Poison Lad with the stab grab. So that was his list. So I stand in the way. So game 1, we deployed. He was 5 drops, I was 1. So the first game they were both 1 drop each, I think. So he basically put his toys down first, and then I built a wall around him. They gave us no, they didn't. They took first turn, but they were newer to 3, and they walked forward. So we played a Death Army. So it was 5 Blood Knights, a Terrorgeist without a rider, and the weird new zombie dragon bat.
Yeah, so the Vengori Lord.
That, one of those. And then the other side was a Cruel Boys list, but a different Cruel Boys list. So it was 3 Bolt Boys, 10 stickers, is it? 10 stickers? The guy from the box on the dog thing, and what was the last one? And maybe the Poison Wizard as well, I think. So they walked. It was 3 objectives in the middle. They walked on the objectives and then stopped.
Oh wow!
And we thought like the Terrorgeist was coming. So I said to Andy, I was like, "Look, I can take the Terrorgeist. I'll lose a unit, but it can't get to you, so we're fine." And then they stopped, and then we got a turn, And Andy went, okay, well, I'll poison these lads and I'll shoot that Terrorgeist. And then these other guys can also shoot the Terrorgeist. So we'll shoot it twice because that's probably the worst thing. Yeah, fine. We agreed. So 6 lads shot the Terrorgeist, gone.
Just killed it outright.
Yeah, 23 mortal wounds or something.
Wow.
So he then went, oh, okay. Oh, these 6 lads will shoot. What did they shoot? Something else. Gone. Can't even remember what it was. Oh, he had a Dobby. So I was like, shoot that. I don't even know what it does. So we shot that. That was dead
Okay.
too. Didn't even
Shoot that. I don't know what it does.
didn't roll a dice. And then we got a double turn and shot more things.
Oh no.
And then yeah.
Keep going.
Oh, I thought you were playing that sound.
Oh no. Oh.
My tactics were flawless, and yet my forces lie decimated.
Done.
Yeah, so at that point, basically, I just walked on every objective, stood in the way, and he removed everything with shooting for the rest of that turn. So that was like painful. Then the second game we played, 2 really nice lads. I forgot their name, but one of them had the most beautiful Sylvaneth army I think I've ever seen. It was stunning. So it was 1,000 points of Sylvaneth, which was basically Mallow's list trimmed down.
Perfect. How can you trim that down?
Such a
So it was
great
like the Warsong Revenant, some Kernoth Hunters, some Dryads, a Brainrich, whatever her name is. And so basically it was still doing the same thing, but like without Alariel.
Okay.
Team Ironbark, there we go. Thanks, Speckles. And so they like just bunkered in a tree, and then the other his other half partner, whatever, had Iron Jaws. So it was 6 pigs in one unit, a Maw Crusher, and 5
Our boys.
Hard Boys, 5 Hard Boys, War Chanter lad, the one with the 2 bones.
War Chanter.
I think that's it. I think that's probably all.
That's pretty brutal at 1,000
pretty hot.
points.
That's pretty rough at 1,000 points.
So this is. Are you ready for the best story? Right. So we get there, and I looked at Andy. I was like, "This charges us. We're probably dead. Like I can tank, but I'm not sure I can tank that." So he was like, "Okay, fine." So it was the one where you can burn your objectives. So the same one Nathan's just been on about. So we've got 3, they've got 3. And I'm like, well, the bonus is like all my men are tankier on objectives. So I'm just going to stand on these objectives. You stand behind me. There's not enough room for us to fit everything in. Like Andy probably deployed too far forward in case they gave us first turn, to be fair. But I was like, we'll manage. And so they then debated for quite a while if they were taking first turn and charging us, or giving us first turn and taking a bit of shooting. So they did what I thought was the right thing, took first turn, cast with the Warsong Revenant, didn't really do much because of the ranges of everything, couldn't hit a lot, and then literally just threw everything across the table. So the Maw Crusher came towards Andrasta, I redeployed her, so he had to charge her, unless he rolled huge, because he got the 3 dice charge thing. And then the pigs just like went gung-ho the other side of the table, straight for the other 6 Bolt Boys, because what he was basically doing is going for 6 Bolt Boys, 6 Bolt Boys. And then was one of the most amazing moments of Warhammer, where I was like, oh, here's where it's a dice game. So he was like, okay, I'm going to charge these pigs. I was like, just so you're aware, if you charge this unit of Vindictors here, because they're on an objective now, on a 3-up, you take D3 mortals. Don't forget. Almost as a joke, because we all knew he was charging. He was like, yeah, fine. And I know you're going to shoot me, but I want you to shoot the pigs more than I want you to shoot the Maw Crusher.
Oh, no.
So he charges the pigs. The pigs go in. Unleash Hell happens. So he charges, he does his impact hits. His impact hits only hit the Stormcast. He kills 2.
Yes.
So I get some saves because I'm Hammers of Sigmar. So 2 die. The Bolt Boys then Overwatch and did... How many wounds is a
5.
pig?
5.
They did 12 mortal wounds.
Okay. That's good.
So they 2.5
Yeah.
pigs die. I then go, right, so on a 3 up, you take D3 mortals, roll it, 3 up, kill another
So you
pig,
killed 3 pigs.
3 pigs,
Yeah.
his charge.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, and these Stormcast, because you've killed them, blow up. So it's just 6s. Roll 6 dice and do 4 more mortals. So there's 1 pig alive, 1 on a wound, and they've charged us.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and then the Maw Crusher charged and did some bits. Tried to just like stomp out Andrasta and didn't. And then then everything hit the pig. So I think at the end of his first turn, there was 1 pig left on 2 wounds.
And then in the next turn, did you shoot him off?
No, I prayed for a lightning storm, and then we shot at the Maw Crusher. And then in the craziest bit of Warhammer I've seen in a long time, the Sludge Raker went into the Maw Crusher, and it decimated it.
Sludge
Oh,
Raker's
yeah.
good.
They are so fighty.
That
Sludge
thing, do you know, but we did that review
Yeah.
show, and part of me almost went back and rewatched it because I remember at the time being like, "This thing's good. Like this
Yeah.
model's good. Like terrifying."
Yeah, really good.
It's like, oh, I rolled a 6. That's 5 mortal wounds. Like, but you rolled 6 dice or whatever. Like each one of those is 5 mortals. Yeah. Gives itself +1 or whatever. You're just like, this thing's nuts.
Really good.
Yep.
So that decimated, and then realistically, the Sludge Raker ran across the board and decimated everything else. That was left.
Really?
Yeah, Andrasta just followed.
Amazing.
It did everything. So we did that, and then I can very quickly sum up Game 3 because it was
Please do.
horrific. So Game 3, we played JJ and one of his mates, and they got Stormcast and Thunder Lizard. And basically, in his 1,000-point list, JJ had spent 480 points on 6
long strikes.
long strikes. So the Cruel Boys book, which I didn't realize, is super fun, that dirty tricks thing. So me and Andy, I was like, they shoot you, every one of your Vault Boys is dead. So you have to shoot them first. We get the choice. He can't deploy them out of your redeployment. So I was like, so wherever you deploys them, you redeploy, you shoot them, and we either kill them and probably then can win, or we don't kill them and we are decimated. And I think they killed none. He just rolled, his roll just betrayed him, and none died. And then we just got Bastiladon twice a turn, shot by long strikes twice, once, then every turn. So then we just fell apart. But it was fun because I was literally 1 dice roll, beginning of the game, all or nothing. Let's go.
That is fun. That is really, really fun. And also kind of maybe poetic justice after you've been shooting people off all game.
Oh, absolutely. At the end, I was just shooting's disgusting, and that's all. All we've been doing all day. Because the first game, the Bolt Boys just shut everyone off. The second game, all the Sludge Raker, all the Bolt Boys died pretty much in the first round. That Maw Crusher stomp, I didn't realize quite how terrifying it was.
The stomp is very good.
Yeah.
The stomp is very good.
So all the Bolt Boys pretty much died game 2, but that Sludge Raker could have been an army on his own.
Perfect. Thank you, Captain Stefan, for subscribing, by the way. Also, can we all just take a moment to shout out Donal in the chat, who just became a father today for the 2nd time running.
Oh, congrats.
So congratulations
Wow.
to Donal in the chat. Rory Michael Taylor was born today. Perfect. Maybe he can go back today and watch the episode where we discussed James's ring. Which is a Steel Yard. Thank you also for subscribing. That's super lovely of you. Thanks. So congratulations to Donal. Big love to him. Did you have a good time though, James? Was it fun? Would you go to more doubles events?
Yeah, it was good. I think doubles is probably my favourite way to play Warhammer because it's just funny.
Really?
Yeah, I just think it's so much fun.
Dumb though, right? It's dumb.
Yeah, but that's why it's funny. Do you know, if you go to a singles event, what you generally watch is someone who has come to have a fun, or they've come to win, or they've come somewhere in the middle. And then like when you go to a doubles event, you get that great moment where you sometimes have like someone who's really skilled, but they've brought their mate who's played 2 games.
Me and Nathan.
Yeah. Or like you get like you have there's just that great, like, I think you get just that hilarity of like a mixing pot, and sometimes it's gone right and sometimes someone stirred it too late and part burn. And so like our game 2 was just hilarious. So the guy with the iron jaws had played a lot of games and seemed to know what he was doing, but the guy he was with was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but do you want a mince pie? I was like, oh yeah, just have a mince pie with this guy. And like, so Andy and this other guy are just playing while we just ate mince pies. And I was like, at a singles event, we'd just have lost 20 minutes of this game.
Fantastic.
Whereas here, having a great time. So yeah, so I really like doubles. Like, I think it's not probably the competitive way to
So you
play.
can just tag people in so you can inspire.
Yeah, and also
Tag.
like you can go to the go get a drink, go pee. Game doesn't stop. You're like, just roll for me. I'm not bothered.
Okay. Yeah. No, I see.
And if you take Stormcast, even better. You go. They go. What? Well, what's it do? You go. Just roll a 3 for anything.
Just roll it.
What's it save on? 3. Hit 3. Wound 3. 3 will do. It's in the middle.
Okay.
They're the Mario.
Gout says, wargaming like drinking. It's more fun with a buddy to share your glory and pain.
Yeah, just think it's funny. I think. Like, and Andy rolled bad, and I laughed at him, and my models killed nothing, and he's killed everything, and he laughed at me. It's nice. I think it's a nice way to play.
Fair. All right, Nathan. Wrap us up. How did you do anything fun on the Saturday night after 2 kick-ins?
After
Get
2
your head back in the
kick-ins,
game is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, I had actually planned to go to a dub night, but ended up not making it because I ended up with a bit of a headache from all those kick-ins. So yeah, we had a quiet night. And
Okay.
oh,
And then
yeah.
Sunday came around. Did your headache go?
Yeah, headache went overnight. Nice and fresh in the morning. Had an omelette and off I went.
Perfect. I love an omelette. What did you have in the omelette?
Yeah. I just had a little fluffy egg omelette, all on it.
No filling. I don't mind
No
that.
filling. Yeah, just
I don't mind
little
that. I don't mind that.
Yeah, bit of cayenne pepper on the top.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's too spicy
What's
for
that?
me, as you know, but nice. Okay. All right. Personally,
Yeah.
big fan of cheese and mushroom.
No.
Don't mind a bit of cheese and mushroom. Oh, yes.
Oh yes. Oh,
Uh,
oh yeah. I do like an omelette
Yeah.
with fillings, but for a little light breakfast, I think just a little egg omelette is good.
Anyway, who was your first round opponent?
So I turned up on the Sunday,
Yeah.
and I got to play against Simon Rook,
Yeah.
or Rook, or something like that. And Simon had one of those Thunder Lizard armies with the bloody
Damn it.
Seraphon again. Damn it! This
Right,
one had
nice.
a Prime. Didn't have a Slan. Had the Slan Light, the little skink on
Starseer.
a palanquin, whatever that is. Yeah. Had a big block of 30
Ooh.
skinks.
Nice.
Skinkaroos. Yeah. A couple of Bastillodons, Engine of the Gods.
The classic Thunder Lizard list.
Yeah, loads of priests, a couple of priests. And the Prime, yeah. Oh, and some chameleon skinks as well. Yeah. So again, this time we were playing the Vice, so I was really far away from him. So I didn't think, without Hanagork, none of my foot troops would get anywhere near him. He gave me first turn. But obviously, the Maw Crusher can go anywhere he wants.
He can. He's the Faston, baby.
Yeah, so he went wherever he wanted. So I thought, because it's the Vice, he splits his army up into 2 sides, and he put his Realm Shaper in the middle, and he put that little skinky dude in there on the palanquin. He was inside there. So he gave me first turn, and I thought, well, I could sit back or I could go and attack. So I went and attacked, as you shouldn't do, as I found out. And all the games I didn't attack were the ones that I did the best as that. So the moral
It's
of the
not to
story,
attack.
which
That's
we will not take, not to attack. A very
also a
un-Indrawsy
lesson
thing,
you're
but
never going to learn.
yes, we'll ignore that stupid lesson. So anyway, I attacked. So I put the 3 pigs into the Realm Shaper to kill the little
Nice.
skinkaroo on the weird chair, which they did very effectively. And I got the Maw Crusher all the way down into the one corner because it was split. So the Engine of the Gods and the one Basti and some other skinkies were in that corner. But I could get the Maw Crusher into the 30 skinks and the Bastillodon, and he had a unit of 10 skinks down there. So I thought I probably won't kill everything down there, but I could seriously cripple everything down there with a Maw Crusher. And then I'll control one side, and then maybe I can hand a Gork something up and start affecting the score that way, all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, the Maw Crusher went in and killed. I pushed the red button on my axe, did all of the stuff, and he killed 5 skinks.
5 skinks. Oh
Yep.
dear.
How did that happen?
I rolled like crap, and he rolled pretty good, and that's all he did. And then basically the Maw Crusher was half dead by the end of that turn.
Nice.
By the time he had finished attacking me, and I couldn't roll any saves either. He was on like a 2-up Mystic Shield and all of that. Didn't happen. So yeah, next well, the second, so I went for Ferocious Advance, he went for Bring It Down and killed the Maw Crusher. So first turn that was gone. And his Bastillodon came around the corner. And I thought my pigs would be pretty good because I had them so it touching the Realm Shaper, so that when the Bastillodon came around, it would have to shoot over the edge of the Realm Shaper. So I'd get cover from the Realm Shaper, and I could give them +1 save if I wanted to. So I thought, oh, they'll be pretty safe from them. Bloody Bastillodon went crazy and killed them.
Really?
I think with them, them and the Engine of the Gods as well, I think might have done some mortal wounds or something. Yeah, but yeah, basically, so I lost both of those first turn. So I'd lost my long range threat pretty much from then. Although, yeah, and then he still had his long range threat because the Bastillodons can shoot pretty far, and obviously he still had the prime to come down and start doing what I thought I was doing to him, disrupting his back. He came down and did to me. Yeah, and so although he went a point up that first turn, and then we went neck and neck 4-4-4-4 until the last round. So we were even Stevens then. So it was 16-17, and then that last round, I only scored 2 points, and he scored the 5. And then he managed to kill all my battle line as well, which was my grand strategy. So he ended up going 27-18.
Boo.
So yeah, quite
interesting. You came up against Thunder Lizard twice. Like they seem to be like so popular a minute because they play so well into Gargants as well as new Ironjaws, right? It's like Ironjaws are like damage 2, Gargants are like damage 2 or damage 3, and they're like, nope, none of that for you. Just so effective, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely a harder matchup than I thought. Playing against them, and I think I probably have a better chance against those armies with my Gits army than I do with the Ironjaws army, to be honest. Especially the army that I had there. So yeah, started Sunday with a loss, and that was that. But then I went into the second game of the day, and I got to play against John.
You got to play against John who?
John Keatley.
I love that guy from Age of Chumps. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he is. Yeah. So he was at the Boba and stuff like that. So, yeah, No, it was it was good to play against him. So he had a double Maw Crusher.
He had a double Maw Crusher. Oh,
This was an Iron Jaws off. So he had a double Maw Crusher
okay.
and 10 brutes, and then 2 units of 5 brutes, and some war chanters. Oh, and he also had the Warcry brute band, and also the 3 Ripper Snarlfangs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he could leave those on home objectives and then just come rushing forwards with the 2 Maw Crushers and the brutes. So yeah, so he charged me. So this is where I didn't charge him, he charged me. He came, although he gave me first turn. Yes, he did give me first turn. And then, so he gave me first turn, but I just held back because I didn't want to, I couldn't commit. He had the little 5s out and stuff like that. So I just wait for him to commit. And so he came at me, came into the middle of the field, and he won the double. So I thought this was going to be scary. But I managed to do a redeploy and sort of screen out my 10 brutes. I thought I'd done a good job with that. But his Maw Crusher went into my 15 odd boys. And his 1 Maw Crusher. The other Maw Crusher. This is his first Maw Crusher gone down the one side. Gone into 5 odd boys and 5 brutes. And a little and my Mega Boss on foot was involved. I don't think he got dragged into the fight straight away. But that fight, and this time his Maw Crusher did the whiffing instead of mine, and he only killed half that unit of hard boys and half the brutes. So oh no, the pigs were there, not the brutes. So he left 1 pig and 3 or 2.5 of the hard boys were down there. And then he was like, oh, next turn I'll do broken ranks and kill that 2.5 unit of hard boys. So I was like, oh, that's, he's got that. But he whiffed so massively that he did not kill. He could not kill with a Maw Crusher. Could not kill 2.5 hard boys. Left the 1 hard boy on 1 wound. So
didn't he stump?
Yeah. He had the pig in the flank, so he just kicked the pig with all the big stomp that he could do and killed it. And then he was like, and then all the attacks go into this hard boy or into these 2.5 hard boys, and yeah. So, that was terrible.
So what was your end score in that game?
So with that, then he did that, failed the battle tactic there, but I still had to deal with them. So I sent my Maw Crusher around, killed that Maw Crusher, and then flew it around the back, killed his 10 brutes who were fighting my brutes, managed to survive. His 10 brutes did a massive long charge, snuck through my screen, got into my 10 brutes. Only killed half of them. My half killed about half of his back in his turn. This was when he had done a war. Then I did my war. Killed his mega boss. My 5 brutes smashed up his brutes. Left only a few left. Meanwhile, his other Maw Crusher got stuck on those hard boys. Couldn't deal with the 15 hard boys because they had Mystic Shield on all out defense, so they were pretty tough lads. And so he took them down to about 10, and then they went in, and the other Maw Crusher and what was left of the brutes all came across, wiped out his last Maw Crusher. All the rest of the brutes had died somewhere in the middle, so all he was left with was a couple of War Chanter Molochs lads, or whatever they're called, the Warcry brutes, and the Snarlfangs. I've been running a War Chanter and a Weird Knob up on the flank to go and fight the Snarlfangs. So the War Chanter got a long charge and beat up the 3 dogs with his bones. Just gave them a great gig. Gave them a good kick in.
Seems mean.
So then it was like it ended up a Maw Crusher versus 2 War Chanters and 3 Moloch lads, whatever they're called, the Warcry guys. So yeah, so he like just stomped them into paste.
Do you think you have any like follow-up thoughts on playing? Because Iron Jaws are meant to be pretty good. Like, what have you got any feelings about Iron Jaws wholesale, Nathan, after the weekend?
Yeah, they're pretty good. They just need a decent general and not to play against Thunder Lizards.
I think you're going to see more and more Thunder Lizards, to be honest. There's a whole bunch of people who are like, wait, I take loads of dinosaurs, then that fucking just already wrecks people. Like, I'm doing it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, one of those,
I don't know.
the Hereford...
50% now dragons.
Oh, yeah, shit. Also, but aren't dragons mainly damaged too?
Yeah, but all the mortal wounds.
It's some mortal wounds. Yeah.
Well, there was one of the Hereford guys had Richie. He had just all dinosaurs. Didn't have any skinks or anything. Just had the dinosaurs, and then Gotrek. And he did really well. I think he went 3-2, but he was like top of that 3-2 bracket as well.
It's just so good. It's just so, like, and I can see why people are so excited. It's just all dinos, and they're very relevant. Not Saurus so much, but then you're like, oh, I'm gonna have 3 Stegodons as my battle line. Sounds great. So it'll be interesting to see if that gets touched by the FAQ, which I doubt. But talking about news, excitingly, we finally have got to the subject of the show. 1 hour 36 in. Super excited. Nate, thanks for regaling us with your tales of adventure. Out of the 5 people, who is your favourite person that you played?
Oh, that's a real tough.
Yeah, I know. I've thrown you under the bus.
Tough one.
Okay, who's your least favourite? That'll make it easier.
Fuck you. Fuck you a lot.
You don't have to pick one.
No, well, I mean, I gave my favourite game vote to John, the last game, because it was crazy, good fun. And yeah, he had really bad luck with, especially with that Maw Crusher, not being able to kill 2.5 odd boys. He took it like a champ. Like, I would have been crying by then. Like proper snot going down my face, everything. But he was fine. He was like, yeah, that's just the way it goes. So yeah. So that, and yeah, that was. But I mean, any of them could have. Yeah, I'd play any of those lads again, multiple times. We would compete for James's ring together on the table any day.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Also, we have in the chat. We have where is he? We have the Spurley, first-time chatter in the chat, who got the wooden spoon at the Leicester GT, is in the chat. So
yeah.
Big shout out to Spurley. Well done to him. Right, okay.
Best
so
award.
Some news. The new White Dwarf has been advertised, or we know what's in the new White Dwarf, and that is an update to Soulblight Gravelords, bringing new match play, open play. Can we just take 2 minutes to just discuss something really quickly? That no one in the world plays open play. Literally 0 people. 0 people. Not one. Can we discuss that for a quick moment? You got a thought that's different? Anything?
I think it's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because, well, no, I do, because I think actually there's probably people, especially younger kids, because actually one of the really cool things at the event at Board and Swords at the weekend was there was a 14-year-old playing, and I tell you what, in 5 years' time, we're all, even them boomers, because he was decent and he was 14. Anyway, like I think if you're 14, I was talking about it a lot at the weekend. Like there comes a point where Games Workshop price out kids.
Agreed.
Because 36 quid for 3 Bolt Boys, too much money if you're buying it on pocket money. So I think like open play in theory had a place where you go, you buy the models you want when you can afford them, and then you play with them. But if I go and buy 3 Bolt Boys, 3 Bolt Boys, 3 Bolt Boys, and my mate buys 5 Liberators, 5 Liberators, 5 Liberators, doesn't really work. So I agree that no one's playing open play, but because I can't see how it would ever be fun, because it's less balanced than the balance that we kind of have.
Well, so like in the chat, So Real Polygeek says he plays. And Dave Fraser says, I love some open play. Every year at Christmas, we put all of our toys on the board and push them around for the day. But you don't need anyone to write that for you. Like, you're not like, hey, here's a new update for you just doing what the fuck you want. Carry on. Like, how long does that...
Yeah, there is that. I mean, some people need guidance, I guess, but to be fair, you're right that people don't really need... If you're going to do open play, it's going to be you. I mean, the guy that got me into Warhammer, my lad, when I first took him to some gaming at Warhammer World, I would play with him. We'd play as like a team. We'd play against all these other kids, and it was great duffing up little kids. But then after I had made them cry, my lad would just sit down with them, and they would. I remember the one time we had Azag on the Wyvern, and the lad we had just played against had a high elf dude on a dragon, and they just sat there and they played their own game just with those two models for like half an hour whilst I was chatting to people. That was open play, and that was using Warhammer Fantasy rules. But they just mutilated them and did their own bullshit stuff. But still, they were having a great time, and they didn't. Obviously, there were no open play rules really for 8th.
Yeah,
so,
but what I'm saying is like, yeah, you don't need any
it.
help.
Yeah, well, that's
yeah,
that's your
that's
point.
my point. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
and I know it's marketing bump, but it's just like it's not that I don't think it has a place. I 100% think it has a place. Yeah, because it's basically just people being like, I'm just doing whatever I want, and I'm like, well, you don't need rules for that. It's literally it's the antithesis of you needing help with that process. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Anyway.
Some people.
Well,
need
don't worry,
it,
I'm not
they?
finished.
So it's for
And
them.
an update to Path to Glory rules. For everyone's favourite bloodsuckers. Soulblight Gravelords updates. I have described the Soulblight Gravelords as maybe the perfect book. That's how I've described it. In recent months, I've described it as almost the perfect book. Multiple builds at a relatively narrative and competitive level. I think very good. James, you got any thoughts on that, or not bothered?
I really like the Soulblight book. Honestly, like every time I play an army from it, I'm like, oh, the balance on this seems good. Shame about half the other armies it fights.
So yeah, that's really nice. I haven't seen any Avangori. So an update in that. Now, just for some of you to be aware, there are updates for many books coming in White Dwarf. It seems to be a thing that they're doing constantly, pretty much every month, I think. For ones that have already happened are there has been a Cities of Sigmar one. There has been a Gargant's one, which has been pretty impactful. There's been a Chaos Slaves to Darkness one. I think that's all of them so far. So there's been those 3, and now it'll be Soulblight Gravelords. So you do make sure to try and find those, because that's going to be important. Those ones. Seraphon, there's also been a Seraphon one. Yes, sorry. There's also been a Seraphon one, which gave Engine of the Gods the priest keyword. Or was that an FAQ update? I think that's an FAQ update. So there's been 4 so far. So you might not be playing with all of the rules available to you, because normally there's battle tactics and grand strategies, and some people might not know that. So worth talking about. Okay, on to the main subject. Nurgle. It got announced. Finally, the Nurgle book is on the way. Limited edition book, don't buy that, you're an idiot. The other edition of the book, do buy that because you need the code for the app. I'm pretty excited. James, Nathan, have you had the chance to look at this? Have you got any thoughts about the front cover? I like the front cover because he's killing Lumineth.
It's a Blight King, though, right?
No, it's that
King?
special new character, the Rotbringer Sorcerer.
Oh. Nice. Yeah, kill that elf. Looks better on the front cover than he does in a model, though.
Oh, do you reckon?
Yeah, I like that front cover. It's weird, right? Because the Nurgle army maybe doesn't fit, like when they made it more fun, for lack of a better word, maybe doesn't fit like the new art's gone almost old Warhammer. Like it's a bit more old high
Retro.
fantasy, yeah. Whereas Nurgle's like a bit more fun. Yeah, he like the model's cool, but I almost think that cover's cooler. Like, where's that fly face? Give me that fly face.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, they've definitely all the new books are a lot more grim dark, aren't they? Grim dark, but
Yeah.
not ironic or what's the other one? Satire, not satire, James.
Yeah, that's the
well,
one.
we don't know if it's satire. It's not.
All right. RK Sanders says he thinks the fly face might be an option. If it is, and you build it with that boring face, going to be disappointed in you. Just so you know, all of you. Anyone that
I like
doesn't.
the boring face.
No, disappointed in you.
"Bleh." Okay, all right, fine. Okay, so the Maggotkin of Nurgle release has been out, and we have seen basically some. We've heard some rumors. Specifically, there's some sort of token system. I think I saw this on Reddit. Some sort of token system applied to different models that. And then you do mortal wounds or something. That's one of the rumors floating around. We've also heard Glockkin stonks are through the roof. But I thought what we could do, fun, we haven't done this before, so I thought that this would be a fun little thing, is go through the existing Nurgle range already, talk about it for a little moment, about things we'd like to see or not see, and then have some chats about like what units we'd like to, which ones we'd like to, because not all of them are going to be great, all of the units, right? Not all of them. So we should talk about the ones we would like to be great, and then sacrifice some on the altar of terrible internal balance. How's that sound? Okay.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Excited.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this together. So we're going to go via the Games Workshop store website. And as you can see, we've got the Great Unclean One. Do you want the Great Unclean One to be really, really hot stuff? Auto include? Or would you like to see some lists without a Great Unclean One? Currently, you normally see a Great Unclean One.
I think he needs to be good enough that I see one,
Right.
but not so good I still see like three.
Yeah, I would agree. You want to see him or maybe the Glockkin, but maybe not.
Yeah, see, I can
Blades?
see both of those, but I don't want to see three Great Unclean Ones for 3 more years.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I also, so for you guys who might be new, Thricefold Befoulment was a War Scroll battalion that used to be able to take before core battalions were a thing. And that was really one of the ways to build a competitive list, or it was take 1 billion Blight Kings, which was also terrible for the people playing it, the people at home, onlookers. Generally, people who didn't even know much about Warhammer were like, oh, it feels uncomfortable, mainly because of that. Thank you to Splunkin for donating a gift subscription, by the way. It's super nice of you. I would agree with you. I'd like to see maybe one Great Unclean One, but I'm kind of like, there's so much other stuff I'd like to see. I don't mind, I'm going to say it right now, I don't mind the Glockkin being thrown on the altar of unusable for some of the other stuff that I'd like to see lifted up.
It's a cool model though. Like good narrative, cool model. You can't give it the amulet.
Because it's got one.
I don't know. Has it
Yeah,
got
he
one?
has.
Or it might
Well,
have
so
one.
the current thoughts are discussing resilience just becomes a 5-up ward, or it already is a 5-up ward, right? So
But he didn't get it because he's mortal, or they didn't get it
he
because
should,
there's 3
yeah,
of them.
should have
have
one.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
It's
yeah,
cool,
okay. All right, so that's Great Unclean One. So 2 votes for yes, 1 vote for no. Everyone in the chat. Glockkin. I'm going to jump straight in here. I know I've already said the Glockkin stonks are high, but I'm so ready for the Glockkin to be great.
Yeah, it's such a cool
Yeah.
model.
Yeah.
Like, and the narrative of the Glockkin, great. 3 brothers, one punchy but dumb, 1 wizardy but weak, 1 who thinks he's in charge but really
Yeah.
isn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think the model's just 11 out of 10. The story's great. It'll have a really flavored, like loads of stuff in the War Scroll. So I'd really like to see the Glockkin stonks be fairly high, personally. Nathan, you got any thoughts?
Oh, yeah. You want to see the Glockkin on the table. It's always nice to kill him.
And he's
and his
unique, right?
brothers.
So you won't be spamming Glockkin. It won't be lots of Glockkin. It's just 1 Glockkin. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, so this is where we get into see, this is where I've sacrificed the Great and Clean One because of the Maggoth Lords. and I would really like to see Morbidex twice spawn. So I'm going to throw them all in together. Orgot's Demon Spew and Blobe Rot spawned. So that's the 3 Maggoth Lords. I want to see. Go on.
Guarantee they're rubbish because they're online only.
I don't want them to be rubbish, though. That's kind of where I'm getting at. Like, I want them to, like, define a sub-faction. Like, you take one of them is the leader of a sub-faction, you get some sweet-ass shit, right?
Hopefully the Spitty one is the worst sub-faction if that's what happens, because I don't like the Spitty model
I
as
like the
much.
Spitty model. What? What?
Like, the other two you want to make out with because they've got their tongues out. That one I'm like, no, I'm not into being spat in my mouth.
You haven't lived. Nathan, what do you think about the?
Oh yeah, those lads. Yeah, it would be nice to see them because they are sweet models, really. Even if they're tonguing or spitting or.
I don't think
whatever.
I've
You want to
ever seen one.
See
I've got
them.
all 3 painted.
Really? I don't think. Yeah, I can't remember when I've ever played against any of them for ages
Because
now.
they're terrible.
So it would be nice to see them with their tongues or spit or whatever all over
Yeah.
James's ring.
And you see what I mean about
That's fair.
sacrifice the great and clean ones so we can get those bad boys on the board.
Yeah, I think also the other benefit to like that is the other option is, isn't it? You make a great and clean one big and hefty and lots of points, say to the level of like, I don't know, an Archaon or whatever, and make him super punchy. Or you can have 2 of these little guys who are just slightly better than half as good or whatever.
Yeah. I'd love to see them. I think that'd be so fun. Okay, the Plague Bearers. Rumor is that they go up to 2 wounds apiece. So Plague Bearers in the house. What do you think about Plague Bearers? Nathan, I'll jump off with you.
Well, I think it's they can be all right, but I don't want to see spam. It's like whenever you see spam or stuff that becomes a bit boring. So loads of blocks, but yeah, you want to see a unit of them at least. They're sort of iconic, aren't they? For the sick lads.
Yeah, I think that they're fairly iconic, right? And there's not a lot of other options, basically. It's a bit disappointing the mortal range for Nurgle. It would have been nice to have seen some more, weaker mortals for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like patience.
Yeah. Okay. And then we got Nurglings on the board. So what do you think about Nurglings? Would you like to see them? Because you can only spam them.
I'd like to lose the Plague Bearers
and just
and just have Nurglings. So like they're still on a biggish base. There's still 1 million. They're like 10 wounds each. They're better than Plague Bearers. They're more wounds. They're less points, but they don't just block half the board.
Okay.
So you have to play differently.
Okay. I'd like them to have some really fun special rules. Like, I would also maybe enjoy there being different like diseases of Nurglings. Do you know what I mean? Like
COVID.
Oh, well, that's James. That's just ruined our YouTube algorithm search. Yeah, right? No, not COVID Nurglings. Right, Jesus.
Just checking. You said different types.
Just, like, I guess maybe different variants. Yeah, the Omicron Nurglings. Yeah, the Delta of Nurglings, I guess.
So you could just have them named after each one.
Yeah.
Like Gur Nurglings.
Yeah.
Don't know where
Kent
else. Can't remember
Nurglings.
anywhere else. We've only been in Gur for a year.
But anyway, like it would be fun. Like, so you could choose different stances. Like, these Nurglings explode when they die. These Nurglings poison. I don't know. Whatever. Nurglings, big thumb. I would say.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe new models though. Give me all them exciting ones. Don't just want
they should be great against monsters. Too tiny to fight. I love that. That's a great idea. Okay, Sloppity Biopiper.
10 out of 10.
Must have great rules.
Best model in the book.
Must have great rules.
Yep.
Okay. Nathan.
Yeah. Can't complain if you see some more of them.
No, I agree. Only Brad Pitt Lord in the chat is mad about it. He's like S tier. Like, no, he's like, get him in the bin. Needs more songs. I wouldn't mind if there were like You know how like sometimes you get a dual spell lore, like one for mortals, one for demons. I wouldn't mind if there were multiple song laws, so you could do like 6 sloppity bile pipers doing spells, but not spells. They're songs.
Sloppity. His spell lore should just be called. Now that's what I call Nurgle, 2021.
Nice.
It should be the 18 best songs of the Mortal Realms. I don't know what they are.
Yeah. Do you want there to be more songs than there are spells that Teclis can cast? Because I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I want so many that in the end someone's just like, oh, sorry, this was the limited edition book, so there's 6 pages of songs. I'm just going to work out which one I'm going to use. But like 9 pages of them are the same song, just remixed.
Okay, yeah. That's good. Did I mention to you that? Did I tell you the other day when I was DJing that like my DJ laptop deleted all of my fucking Linkin Park songs just as we're on it? Like absolutely wild.
Rubbish. That's the worst.
But no one requested them, so in the end it didn't even matter. Right.
God help us all. Okay,
so good.
Yes.
Well done.
Right. £1 for that, please. Chat has to donate £1 every time I make a joke. Right, Rotigus. Rotigus. Yes or no?
Bin.
Bin. Agreed. Get him in the bin. Yeah,
Ordered
he's terrible.
He can just be a pretty glad and clean one. Other than that,
bin. Yeah. Nathan, what do you think, Rotigus?
Well, yeah. Again, he's a nice big fella. You want to see one of the 3 big fellas, but you don't want to see all the big fellas, and then nothing else. So yeah. I don't mind if he's all right, but then I don't want to see him and a Great Unclean One and the Glockkin, or him and 2 Great Unclean Ones.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I want to see a variety of 6 things across the board.
I agree. I don't mind Rotigus going in the sea, to be honest. I think he's got a cool little stick, but I don't care. Right, okay. So the Puscoil Blight Lords, and then their boss man, the Lord of Afflictions. Afflictions? Lord of Afflictions. These guys have never been good.
Yeah. So,
what do we think?
I'd like them to be £16 worse than dragons.
Per 2.
No, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to see them actually used because they're cool models. And like, if memory serves me right, that kit has like 1 million customizable parts.
They're very awesome.
So it'd be super cool to like see what people would do with them, because I don't feel like they've ever been good enough for us to ever see them used like widely.
I would like to see these. Like, I don't mind sacrificing Plague Bearers, Great and Clean One, get them in a bin, Rotigus, get them in a bin, as long as I get these fly boys. But again, could be very spammable, so if they're too effective, too efficient. But then again, like, you know, I want them the same joy and love that you get hit with a bunch of pigs. You just be like, oh my god, 4 fly boys just came up and beat me up. That's pretty fun. So, like, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, make them like Gore Grunters at least.
Yeah.
As good as Gore Grunters, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
so, yeah.
At least they got a hero version as well.
Well, that's
like
what I mean. Make a
So,
power
yeah, that's
pair,
cool.
right? Like, make the character really buff the flies. So if you want to make the flies worse, you just shoot the character off, right? That's the way. Yeah, give them a rule that allows Unleash Hell on them. Yeah, that's good. We don't know if these aren't very good at the minute. They're pointed way too high, which is quite funny and weird. But I think these guys definitely deserve their time in the sun because they haven't had one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they need to be. They're comparable to Gore Grunters or Fulminators, and they should be comparable with their rules.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
points.
Similar to Fulminators would be great. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, fuck yeah. All right, Putrid Blight Kings. James, I'm going to jump to you first.
Do you know what? I'd like to see Blight Kings exist, but I'd like them to have like an entire rewrite.
Okay, yeah, me too. I agree with you. What do you want to see?
Like maybe just make them tanky. So they've always had a lot of wounds, but like give them a good save, give them disgustingly resilient, and then make them like a few attacks. But if they hit you, it hurts because they're big lads and they've got some weight behind their swing. Instead of being like, oh, they rolled 9 dice each, and then every 6 is like another d6. Like I don't want to be there while someone rolls 57 dice anymore. Like give them big, strong attacks. Or even like make them averagely fighty but super tanky. Like there's 5 of them, but you ain't gonna move them.
Yeah. Bearware, thank you so much for the gift sub in the chat. What do you think? Nineball makes a great point in the chat. We want to see Battle in the Skies with Storm Drakes versus Flies. Yes, 100%. Yes, that's great.
Yeah.
Nathan, you got any thoughts on Blight Kings?
Yeah, I think James has hit the nail on the head actually with the attacks thing, because you look at them and they're not nimble. You're not going to see loads of attacks out of them, are you? So why are they doing loads of attacks? What's all of that bullshit about? They should be doing just a few attacks and maybe they're really good. Maybe they do mortal wounds or something like that, but not 1 gazillion attacks that bounce off of a Grot's.
Well,
little
what
shield.
I quite like is I wouldn't mind there being some sort of like bonus, like the longer you're around them, the more ill you get, right? Something similar to Plague Bearers as well, maybe. But like, you know, the more turns you're in combat with them, like the worse something gets. You get to hit, your armor save, your bravery, if you want it to be useless. Do you know what I mean? Like you want them to. I feel like, because I agree with you, but they're like fairly tanky. A lot of shields, a lot of like armor and stuff, right? They're big lads. I wouldn't mind if they were like big tanks, like proper tanks that didn't do tons of output unless you were around them longer and longer. You know, like I wouldn't mind them seeing something like the Brute Rule or something. So they're on an objective and you have to go get them off the objective, and they just wither you down basically over time. Would be fun.
Yeah. Well, every turn the same unit is fighting the same unit. They just get an extra damage against that unit or something like that.
Or they reduce the enemy damage or something, right? But something that's actually disease-based. Like, I agree with you. Just the fact they had loads of attacks is weird. All right. Don't worry about this one. It's all ready. I want him to be broken. And I mean in a way Age of Sigmar has never been broken before. Horticulus Slimux. I mean, like, just mad shit. Like, the point where several videos...
Do you know what?
Sure.
James wants him to slither on his ring.
I want him to be rubbish. Like, I want him to have an okay rule, but not be great. And then I want the snail to be bent. Like, disgusted. Like, so broken that people actually get reduced to tears. And you're like, oh, here's Sloppy's attacks. Oh, he's 1 attack. It's 4s. It's minus nothing. It was 1 damage away. And then they're like, oh, snail. He's going to use his eyes first.
So 24 is shooting attack?
It's 2s. It's -4. Can you save that? No, you can't save that. It's 6 damage each. And they'll be like, well, my model's dead. And you'll be like, oh, I just wasted 5 profiles.
I agree. Yeah. Horticulus Slimux. Nathan, you got any thoughts?
Oh yeah, you want to see this fella out there, don't you? He should be a massive buff beast, shouldn't he? And just having a great time.
That's nuts, right? Someone in the chat just said they didn't even know he existed.
You don't know if it's terrible. What would be great is if they did some very intense bookkeeping, and literally everywhere he moved there was a trail behind him, and if you walk across it, it's like D6 mortal wounds, and you have to like literally put down some paper or like a trail of where he's been. Yeah,
paint it on. Yeah, you get a jar of paint.
Just paint every battle map.
Perfect. Thank you to the Beard 3 Dragon, who's a first-time chatter. That's cute. Give him a free Gnarlmaw every turn. No, I want more than that. I want him to poop out Nurgling bases.
No, more than that. I want 6
damage on every
at
profile.
Least. 6 damage on one of his attacks. All of them.
Epidemius, the Tally Master. You got any thoughts on that?
No, he can go.
He's fine.
We've had,
I agree.
Yeah.
He had his death. He's gone.
We don't need that accountant fella here
Get out.
anymore.
Okay,
Go.
no accountant. We
And
do
some other
somewhere
stuff.
else.
No, he was
Yeah,
great
he
for a
was.
long time.
Yeah,
Wasn't
but I think he
Wow.
can go now. The Harbinger of
Yeah.
Decay, comfortably one of my favourite minis. I wouldn't mind seeing him in there.
He has to stay mostly for the signpost that reads like Kislev or whatever.
Where?
Yeah, exactly. So he has to stay because he's been traveling for so long. He's still like in the old world. That's how slow he is. Yeah, keep him in, but his movement has to be 1 because he's so
He's
slow.
in the wrong world.
He's still in
He's
a
in
world
the wrong world.
previous.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm fine.
He's lost.
Okay.
Only moves backwards.
So there's the worm spat, which is the Warcry Warband. We could just skip that. Whatever.
I watched you scroll
Yeah, I
past
just
it.
don't
I was
care.
like,
I
we're
just
gonna
don't care.
miss this.
The broken.
Broken.
Nathan, why? The worm spat.
It looks nice.
Oh, yeah, it does look nice. Okay, they can only be good if they power pair in with MSU. If what that aura we were talking about with Blight Kings is like an MSU Blight King thing, yeah. So they power pair with them. That's all they're allowed.
Yeah.
Okay. Fecula is the only girl in Nurgle, Mr. Rob. Sorry, Northrax. Okay, sorry. Is that Fecula Wormspat?
Yeah. Yeah. She's a fine young lady.
I apologise. All right. So what about Spoilspox Scrivener?
Well, he might be
could
a
be.
fine young
That's
lady.
true.
Who knows?
Spoilspox?
But they are great. I think we need to see more of them.
Spoilspoxes? I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think, James?
Yeah. Those two models, those two models are the best probably sculpts in the Nurgle army. Him and the Bile Piper, which was that
out.
Oh wow, okay, he's also amazing too. Yeah, that whole period though, wasn't it? Like Nurgle got some weird, they'd gone super dark and grim, and then they were like, oh, let's just make a laugh.
Great fun.
Yeah, and those are the best. So all of those great rules. Him, that scroll, I want him to read it, and if your model's over 20 wounds, it's dead.
Okay.
You take 4, and you're like, pay me into them gargants.
Let's go.
Give me them gargants. I want them now.
Thank you to the Beer Dragon for subscribing. First time chatter and a subscriber. What a good guy. All right. The Lord of Blights, the character so basically the Blight King guy on foot. I'd like to see him be really relevant. Again, as a power pair with Blight Kings, does something useful for them, makes them cool. And again, you can make that synergy go away because the model's fantastic.
Yeah. You've seen him in quite a few painting competition type things as a model that people use for that.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it. He's a great
really
model,
great.
isn't he?
He's really great. James, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, he's a hard one for me. I really like that model, but I almost think if you make Blight Kings great, you could almost lose him. You can make Blight Kings great. They're badasses. They're the best mortals Nurgle's got. Do they need a leader?
Yeah, you're
Maybe
right.
not.
You're right. Plus, I
that's
don't
my
mind him
problem.
being terrible as long as the guy on the fly is better.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. If the guy's really good, you give him a fly. So this guy's just in charge of the foot troops. So
Yeah, I agree.
he can't be
All right.
that good.
Poxbrink, what's up, Nate?
Whoa. So anti-infantry. He's all about the cavalry. He's a
'cause
bloody.
he bought 12 dragons. That's why.
Yay.
I actually brought 8 and 2 were large.
God. Was your guys? Was your one missing the part? Ah.
Yeah, it was.
What?
And do you want to know the most hilarious thing? So I built
Yeah.
2. So I built 2 big dragons, and there's a small hole on the first one. I'd finished the whole model because I built it really late. And I got to the end, I was like, there's a small hole there, and I don't know what I've done. But I'm not going back, so I modded it. So it's got some extra bones coming out of it. And I left it at that. And then the next night, I built the next one. And it had the same thing when I reached the spot where you built it. And I was sat next to Meg, and I fully raged because I was like, I've definitely done this wrong. So I went on Twitter and looked for photos, and I couldn't see any issues. And then today, I fixed it myself, put a piece behind. And then today, James Hobbs texted me and was like, "Oh, your dragons, the big ones." So yeah, he was like, "They have a problem that's all over Twitter." It's like,
No, you
well,
didn't.
didn't
You
look very well,
didn't.
did I?
You conquered Twitter one day and then you failed the next.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's a production issue. There's a production issue on the
No
large
idea.
dragon, specifically Kazrai. Is that the one? Oh, but it's
They're both the same kit.
problem on both.
Yeah, I had exactly the same problem on both. So, like, if anyone's built one, it's when you're looking at it to the right side, if you're looking face on, it has like a small hole in its shoulder that looks like an arrow wound. So I couldn't work out if
Is
it was
armor meant to
intentional.
go over it or
originally.
no? Wow.
No. So his armor doesn't go over it, and on the fighty one, nothing goes over it because
They are going to
he
have to
has
return
nothing.
a lot of those.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's interesting to see that, like,
Okay,
yeah,
that's pretty
it's
wild.
not good.
That's pretty wild. Okay. I mean, we didn't talk about that Dragon Gate. I'll just do that tomorrow. I'll just be like Dragon Gate. I'm sure someone's done it already. Okay, right. Gut Rot Spume.
Oh, I see. I kind of want him
Do
to
you,
stay
pirate guy? Why?
because he's such a cool model that every part of me is like, oh, I want him to stay, and then the sensible part of me is like, he doesn't match anything else
But
in
what
the
if
army.
you had, like, as being suggested in the chat by Smitty Pence, what if there's just a pirate subfaction, baby?
Yeah, fine, but they're gonna make more models then, right?
What pirate Nurgle?
Maybe. Do you know what? Yeah, like maybe you could just drop like a £10 upgrade kit for the Blight Kings, where they get little pirate.
Oh yeah, so
hats. Then I'd be
Northrite's
all
made a
over
good point in the
it.
chat. What about just pirate upgrade sprue for Nurgle?
There you go.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
pirate boats,
Sea combat.
sea combat.
And it goes nicely with Wormspat as well, so
Yes.
they can go together.
Do that. Okay. All right,
There
so
you
we
go.
want Gut Rot
Problem
to
solved.
be in it. Okay, Festus, who is fine cast, but beautiful. But beautiful.
Fine cast.
Fine cost, get
You
gone.
Yeah, he's
pair of
gotta go, Rob.
bastards.
Get gone.
He's
don't
also
wanna build
terribly
it.
difficult to build as well.
He is a great model, but he's had his time. Goodbye, lad.
Fine. Yeah. Okay, fine. He can go. Lord of Plagues can also go because he's just boring and looks like a fucking what's it called? Blight King. So just get him out of it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. He's so boring. Like, nice at the time.
Yeah.
Dated really
Okay,
fast.
we'll get him out. Lord of Plagues out.
Needs
Needs
a pirate upgrade.
Agreed.
Yeah. If you have him, he's now a Blight King. You're not
Yeah.
wasting a model. But
Yeah, get him out.
he's not a
Get him
person
out.
anymore.
Right, and finally, the metal, although soon to be replaced, Rotbringer Sorcerer. So
So the new one is basically a
yes,
guaranteed replacement for him. Oh, hasn't got a fly face.
Rotbringer is not metal. My one was metal. Okay, well my one is metal. Sorry, what is that one? Is he's okay? He's also a fine cast. Nathan, you got any thoughts?
Fine cast. Oh, bin.
Oh, he's getting replaced. So
Yeah, so what
the
do you
new
think of the
guy,
new guy?
obviously, we want to see the new guy. So yeah, bring the new guy with his pirate
Okay,
upgrade
good.
hat.
All right,
face.
nice. Plague Drones of Nurgle currently out of stock, but Plague Drones.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I'm
bin 'em.
willing to have them be
Let the-
terrible so that the Blight King versions are cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just bin them.
Yeah.
Bin them and be done. Give the Blight King kits better, and those Plague Bearers, if memory serves me right, are like. This is
Ooh,
what I'd say
someone,
like.
someone has made a great little point in the chat. I wouldn't mind there being a version where you can do flies with Plague Bearers or flies without Plague Bearers, like monstrous beasts that are just. That would be great.
Nice.
That'd be fun.
And good for darker designs who's got 6, so he can
Yeah,
just
there
snap
we
the
go.
Plague Bearers off.
There we go. Yeah.
Problem solved. Oh, but they could still sell the kit because it might be cheaper to buy 3 of those at a time and just attach
You mean,
flag bearers.
yeah.
Blight King, sorry.
Okay, I don't mind these being like medium to okay, but I wouldn't mind them being okay. It'd be nice if the army became weird flyboys mainly. No, I just don't want it to be 3 big guys basically, so I don't mind that.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Beasts of Nurgle. Now, my heart screams that these guys be really good, but it's a monopose model, which is super weird. So
There's 2 in that kit, right?
1.
Or is there only 1
1.
now?
It's just you buy 1. It's £27 for 1 Beast of Nurgle.
But
they all.
But do they all look
same.
the same, or was it 2 builds in 1 box? Bring back the old ones.
Oh, it has 3
No, get
alternate
rid of it.
faces,
Oh, really?
but the same
Oh.
pose.
I think it's
Fair
a
enough.
bin,
Oh,
right?
you want to see 1 in the army? There got to be a reason to take 1. Maybe if it goes and pees on the tree, then nice stuff happens, and that's it.
It explodes.
That'd be great. What's it doing? Moving across the board towards me? Oh, it's
If
gonna.
it pisses on the tree,
piss on that
everyone
tree.
takes 20 more wounds. So you best fucking
Yeah,
you best
it's
fucking
game
stop
over.
him.
I
He's
win.
moving at 3. Get to it quick.
2 moves 2 inches. If it pees on a tree in your side of the
Okay.
board, you lose. It's not
Yeah, I
wounds.
agree. I wanna
it's
see
just game
1.
over.
Give me 1 that does something crazy, and then that's it. We can be out on that. All right, that was quite fun. Because we don't know what it's going to be like. We don't. We got no clue. So I'm quite excited to see what we do end up with from the new Nurgle book. But that's all we've got time for today, ladies and gentlemen of the Twitch chat. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube audience, and ladies and gentlemen of the podcast, I hope you guys enjoyed today. Can I just thank my 2 co-hosts, Mr. Nathan Prescott and James, the ringmaster himself, for being on the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And Nathan, you got any shout-outs before we go out today?
I'll shout out all the lads that I played against at the Leicester GT. Thanks
Good.
for the games.
Okay, and then what about you, James?
I'll shout out anyone who's ever touched my ring.
It's a lot of men. Yeah.
It's a lot of men, right?
I'm going to shout out Twitch chat. We've been together all day today. It's been a long day today. We've got the stats show done. We got this. So love you tons. You guys are great. See you guys tomorrow, where I'll be back with the 40k adjacent guys and loads more shows this week. So thanks for tuning in. Please stay hydrated and thanks for being honest wargamers. See you guys soon.